That's
I didn't
unfortunate.
say that.
But I think we need more hours at that leaf and twig site, especially with so many people home, stuck home doing extra yard work and trimming and blah, blah, blah. So that's my.
How do
2 cents.
we, this is Jason again, how do we, somebody remind, how do we handle it? We do allow people to pick up a key, right? But they have to put a deposit down. Bring the key back, you get your money back.
No.
They get cost, added costs.
Okay, strike that from the record.
They can go to landfill with it too and they'll get a bill.
Yeah.
I think looking at the time of year, we're just getting through the most busy time to clean up from spring and winter growth and stuff that need to get out there. And now people are gonna be going to the lakes and it's gonna slack a little bit. And it will pick up again in the fall. So I personally, many times I've been out there, I think the system works good because people know when it is and they make a point to figure out how to get things out there during that time.
Any other questions? Any other thoughts? We don't want to let anybody be left out. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the city administrator. Jason?
Okay, I've got quite a few things today. You were supposed to, today was the day you were supposed to approve a well 14 raw water sanitary sewer line contract. Conversations I had, you didn't, you don't see it on the agenda, so you didn't miss it. Conversations I had with McClure, who was the engineer on the project, had conversations with them prior. We weren't getting, it's comprised of 2 contracts, so just like I stated right now. Well 14, the drilling of the well and the building of the well house, that is one contract. The second contract is the underground stuff as far as installing the raw water main and the sanitary sewer main. That's the second contract. There was plenty of interest from contractors by McClure fielding phone calls. Okay, there was plenty of interest in the raw water main and the sanitary sewer main. So that wasn't a concern. The concern was the drilling of the well and the building of the well house. There was very, very limited interest in that. But in conversations that Michael Washburn had with those contractors was, boy, we'd love to do it, but I wish we had a little more time to put together a bid. So through that conversation with Michael, an addendum was sent out to extend the bid letting date. So that bid letting date is extended till this Thursday. So fingers crossed, hope we get more interest overall in the 2 contracts, and the award of it will come to you as a council at the June 2nd meeting. So that's an explanation of that.
Any questions on that particular topic?
We could accept the bids on the piping, and even if we had to delay it further and get bids for fall, I would think.
You know, yeah, we could.
There's nothing that would tie the 2 together, does it have to be that?
Well, no, and it's very unlikely that the same contractor would bid the 2 different. Anyway, I mean, they're
Well,
2 different.
Let's hope we get some.
Yeah. So, so that's why you did not see an award today for it. Any
Any
comments?
other questions for Jason on that particular topic? Hearing none, go ahead.
To back up on that, do we need to award the contracts with a piping as soon as possible. What's the limit on how long we can sit on
I
that?
believe they're good for 30 days. But I mean, the addendum addressed the date on both sides.
Okay.
Okay, so both aspects are due this Thursday.
Answer your question, Ken?
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, moving on, Jason.
Secondly, the STBG K-49 application, so it was, I don't know when it was back, 2 months ago, that we, council approved us submitting an application for that. So K-49 PCC overlay. Projects, those are the same types of projects that we've done. All of our other PCC overlay have been funded in part through this whole process. So we got confirmation that that project will go out on, that will be an FY fiscal year 24 project, and that'll work in conjunction with the Plymouth County's portion south of this. So we got the letter that that has been approved, and that will get programmed into the system. So that leads me to a question you brought up the other day, Clark, that I'll address to all the council members. So the other projects, our most recent one was Central Avenue from 3rd North to 3rd South. That was our most recent one of these projects. The next one slated to be done is Central Avenue from 5th Street South to 12th Street South. That was supposed to be an FY20 project. Now FY20 has only got 2 months left. So then the next one slated is an FY21 project, and that is 12th Street from Central Avenue to 6th Avenue West. Those are the next two. And then the next one is what I just stated, will be the K-49 for an FY24. So we've got a gap of 2 fiscal years in there. But anyway, so what's been approved is an adjustment in the programming of those, at least the one project. So the Central Avenue from 5th Street to 12th Street is getting slid back to an FY21 project. The next one, which is Central to 6th, will stay in FY21 for now, with the hope of maybe bidding them or letting them at the same time, and maybe getting a better price because it is a bigger project. But how that plays out isn't determined yet. It all depends on how much funding is really available, on whether or not we can do that many projects in a year. But anyway, the reason for the request, and it's not completely unusual for those that are part of this. So it's the counties in this area, and then 2 cities, which is Lamar's and Cherokee. It's not unusual to have to adjust the timing of the projects. You know, it's all based on, at least this decision was based on not having the plans, required paperwork done and submitted to DOT on time to get on an FY20 letting date. So any more on that? So our 20 becomes a 21, and now we have 2 and 21. So the second one in 21 may get adjusted to, depending on how this program gets funded.
Any questions on that? Thanks for the update, Jason.
What's next on my list? CWC, Community Wellness Center. I sent out that email late in the morning, so if you haven't looked at it yet, look at it. That is the latest, it's this thing. That is the latest field report done by CMBA on the progress to date of the addition and renovation. It has, I sent it to you because it does have some photos of what is going on up there. By the end of this month, concrete on the addition is done. Well, it's underground, the concrete is done. Next step is to start to put up the steel, and hopefully that should start by the end of this month. So by the end of May, we should start seeing at least steel on site and hopefully steel being erected out there. But some of these photos, with the shutdown of the YMCA, some of that interior work got pushed up ahead of schedule. So contractors had the ability to work on things that they may not have had the ability to work on until maybe August or so. So interior's a little bit ahead of schedule, exterior's a little bit behind because it took longer than usual to get steel. But there's that, and the YMCA is back open on a limited basis. So
Jason, I assume there's no surprises and we're within budget on it, right?
we are looking perfect there.
Thank you for that information. That always makes me nervous.
Fifth on my list, we had past most recent conversations on 18th Street intersection, which led to potentially looking at other intersections and then potentially looking at that entire corridor from Highway 3, what we are responsible for, so from Highway 3 south. That process had started, and it was initiated to strictly look at the Dairy Queen corner. That was initiated years ago. It never got passed to the point of actually doing it. So I resubmitted a request to the DOT for a TEEP study to look at the entire route there. And I got the response back from the DOT stating that all TEEP requests are on hold until the beginning of FY21. But we will get put on the list. There are 4 requests in front of us. So we will be 5th on that list. And the first step will be an on-site meeting sometime in July. So that whole thing hasn't been forgotten. So we're still, they'll look at from, like I said, Highway 3 all the way south through town. So, any questions on that? PD building, police department building moving, that was supposed to happen last week, and I see it's still in the same location. So, I don't know. Not done yet. Knife River asphalt overlays, they are done. They're done.
They've done a good job, by the way, it looks like. I don't know if you drove any on any of the streets that they've done, but they came in here in a very short period and certainly cleaned up a lot of our streets for us, I think.
Next one, Highway Business 75, there is two small little pieces yet for Specialized to do. So, and I think there was a staging, there was a matter of staging the way it was done so that not 2 entrances to total were closed at the same time. So that's why it caused a breakup of what's done. Key Avenue Rec Trail, that was paved last spring, or last fall, last year. It's not completely done. That contractor, that project's not closed out. Contractor's not done working out there. They need to come back. There's been a little bit of undermining that's occurred in a couple spots that need to be fixed. Some erosion issues that need to be fixed. And then probably another attempt at reseeding it before they're done. O'Toole, as if you haven't been by the skate park today, the trees have been planted. If you remember, the Rotary Club had shown interest in wanting to provide and donate trees to that park as part of the skateboard park. So those were planted yesterday. So if you want to go look, you can go look at those. They also donated 2 benches. Those are here. They haven't been installed yet, so our crews will go up and just swap out the 2 benches that are there now with the 2 that have been donated by Rotary. So thanks to them, they continue to show interest in that park. So next thing, we'll get into some more coronavirus stuff. What I want to talk about, there's been some concern on why are some things closed and other things not? And in particular, what I would like to discuss now is, we made a decision as a city back early April 2nd, to close down playground equipment, basketball courts, and our restrooms. We did that based on the proclamation at the time was to restrict the gatherings to under 10. Okay. If you remember, the first proclamation came out March 17th. It did not close down. It did not close down city parks. It did not close down playground equipment. It didn't close down basketball courts. We chose to do it along with other communities. We weren't the only ones. Other communities closed down that stuff. The official proclamation to close down those things didn't happen until April 7th. So it eventually happened. But one thing that was never closed by a proclamation was our basketball courts. That was a local decision to do that, simply in an attempt to try to discourage the gathering of larger groups at those locations. Okay? That's why it was done. Right or wrong, it was in coordination also. Schools did the same thing. Now, we don't have very many. We have 2 parks that have basketball courts, Cleveland and Walnut. Yeah, Walnut on 11th Street. Those are our two places that have basketball courts. So the thought and my hope is to open those basketball courts back up, okay, and rely on the community to kind of ensure that they're following rules themselves, okay? It runs into conflict. I bring up the conflict is why some things, why not others. We have a basketball court compared to a baseball field. We have a baseball field compared to a tennis court and a pickleball court, and why this, why not that one? So, you know, like I said, there was a reasoning behind it to start with. Right or wrong, you know, maybe it wasn't the right thing, but I'm here to say, I mean, I'll ask for your comments as a council, but I guess as a city administrator, I feel that we should take the saran wrap off those basketball courts and, you know, if somebody wants to go shoot baskets, let them go shoot baskets. If there's a group of 12 people there, you know, then we get notified, we see it, we'll have to, you know, we'll have to let them know. Not supposed to be doing it. So, that's my comments. Your feelings on it?
Have you had any notification about baseball teams gathering and practicing? Any complaints at all?
I have not.
All right.
I have not.
We have, Steve, quite a few, and each one we've gone to, and it's been 10 and under. They're abiding by the rules. I think we can do the same with basketball courts. If we go, there's 20 kids there, we'll tell them to break up and go to the 2 different courts. I think we're fine. The governor's relaxing some stuff, and I think we as a city need to relax it as well.
Is it merely the size of the group from the public health perspective, or is it the 6 feet distance and then you wear a mask kind of thing? Because if you're gonna play basketball, everybody's staying 6 feet apart, that's no fun.
You know, I could maybe make a shot if somebody stayed off me 6 feet. But, yeah, that played a part in it. That played a part in it, Mike. It was the tendency of the sport is to be closer than the 6 feet. Whereas in baseball or softball, you know, there's a better chance
It's less likely.
you're separated. So that's why the decision was made on basketball also. That was taken into account, the nature of the sport. That's why.
Can I ask